more than the cost of our service, of actually the Sales Arbiter service that we bring to our clients, more than that, you have to have a level of commitment to want to change. I mean, that's the thing that we're always challenged with, Dan.
Well, let me go. We're not selling the service as much as we're selling the outcomes of the service.
Fair.
Because that's ultimately what they're buying.
Right.
You know, if you can get something that doubles the value of your business or doubles the time you could spend with your family, that's what we're selling.
Right.
You know, so so how much is that worth?
Yeah.
You know,
and
it works.
We're doing that as we're increasing the value of your company.
Yeah, you're earning more profit, and it's increasing value and it's increasing the value of your company when and if you want to sell. Crispin, Cruz.
Hey, Dan, Jourdan.
We're back again.
We're back.
I have a client.
Yes.
Friend. I'm a friend. Good friend of mine. You know, I started flight lessons.
Yeah, I heard.
I started flight.
That means the skies are not friendly any longer.
Oh my gosh! I'll tell you later about how much fun it was, but it's like a totally new experience. But how I got into it is because of a friend of mine.
Okay.
And he's got this great business. He does employee benefits. Unbelievable. And he's got me into flying because he has a plane.
Okay.
Actually just bought a new plane.
Oh, nice.
And does really well, travels a lot and goes to places. He does a lot of traveling for business, but he also does a lot of traveling for pleasure. And I asked him, I said, man, how have you been able to manage this? It was just a small business. How is it that you are able to have that people call that life balance,
work-life balance,
that work-life balance that people are so, looking forward to, and hardly anybody can achieve it.
Right.
And I asked him how he did it, and it was kind of enlightening.
Was it?
And he told me that from day one of his business, he realized that it could never grow if he was the main producer.
There we go.
Now, for many years, he was the main producer.
Makes sense.
But he never stopped looking for somebody else to take over the reins.
It's interesting.
And one day he found that person, and kind of the rest is history. But you've probably heard stories like that too. The challenge is what happens when that top producer leaves.
That's right.
And then you go from there. So how can somebody prevent that, that dilemma from happening without taking it on yourself, and so it doesn't limit yourself for growing?
So I'm gonna use that special technique that we teach a lot of our prospects and a lot of our clients to do, which is reverse. And so I'm going to go back to you and say, Dan, you're asking me that question for a reason, because I think if anyone, you know the answer, because that's what we do with Sales Arbiter, right? So how do we do it, Dan? How do we help companies not only grow, but have that autonomy to be able to, grow in their family life and then also professionally as well?
Well, I think it's important in any type of consulting practice, which that employee benefits company is, or an accounting firm, or even an attorney firm, or anything like that. There has to be a self-functioning, highly profitable sales arm to your business that the owner is not involved in.
There we go. That's the answer. I mean, and here's what's exciting about that is that even when people call us, and I've heard them call us all kinds of different things, and I've heard them call you a bunch of different things that I'm not going to repeat on the air. Yeah, our two listeners, their ears would be bleeding, right? So I'm not going to mention those things. But when they call us
Yeah, if
You
you're
know.
listening and you know who you are,
And when they call us a consulting company, ish, okay, I get a little. When they call us a sales training company, no, I don't like that either. Like they try to box us in to this little box to say, okay, what is Sales Arbiter to us or to me means this. But I think that encapsulates the whole service set that we bring. See, we don't go out saying Sales Arbiter is a consulting company. We are hyper focused on the sales component of the organization. I mean, that's where we help companies grow. And so when you say highly functioning, sales team, how do we make that happen? How do we take an organization that you said so yourself in one of our other podcasts? You said, what if it's an organization that's had some growth? They've had a pretty decent run. They're continuing to see, single digit growth maybe every year. Maybe a little bit more than the economy, right?
which isn't a bad life.
That's not a bad life.
No, that's something that people can live with. The challenge is when they want to sell it.
Right.
And then it's a whole different story. Then they say, well, let's just put some gas. Let's put some gas in here and see if we can grow this thing. But someone who's combined is, heck, we're going to look at your previous 3 years. And so you're never, even if you invest money now and go and you want to sell it this year, you're not going to get the benefit from it that you would if you just had the processes in place.
I hope the listeners are actually listening to that, because there's no quick fix. There's no silver bullet. You have to have a plan. And you just said it yourself. They're going to look over the past 3 years. So if your past 2 years have been but this year has been great, there's still a lot of work to do, right? And so when we go into these companies, we're looking at all aspects as it pertains to sales. What foundational pieces do you have in place to manage your salespeople the right way? Okay. How are you acquiring new business, and what does that look like? And how have you done that in the past? So maybe we can help to build some repeatable process that's going to help you continue to grow in that way, but also that we're not going to make the same mistakes that you've made in the past either. I mean, Dan, I think you were telling me that there was a client that we were talking to that says, "Oh, I've tried to hire salespeople. I've hired 3 sales guys in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, paid them big salaries, and what happened?"
Yeah, well, they all bomb out because what happened? They're selling, and it's true. You reach a certain point, you could be really good in a particular lane, and you think you're a salesperson that can manage accounts and all that stuff, but all they can do is manage those accounts, and you have the relationship with those accounts. What you're looking for when you're hiring a salesperson is a hunter. Someone said, "I don't want your accounts that you have right there. Let me go get my own. Mm-hmm. Show me how. Give me the process there to go get my own. I'll do this." And it's very important as a business owner, because if you have a salesperson that's done so well that he's getting recruited to other firms, they're recruiting that person not because of that person's sales skills. Those guys are coming after your clients, baby. Mm-hmm. They're coming after them all day long. You don't want your sales process to be at the behest of that salesperson.
That's right.
You as the owner, as the business owner, like my friend with the plane, need to, the business itself owns the process. The mm-hmm. business itself owns the system.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That way people can come and go, but baby, the business is there. And by the way, my friend who has that company, mm-hmm. Most companies will sell at a multiple of, let's say profit. Let's say a multiple of profit. So if the profit's $100,000, it'll sell at some multiple of that. Generally, they're 3 to 5 times if it's really good. This guy who has his business set up in such a way that he's not needed in the day-to-day operations, and the process is rolling like it's rolling, that business is selling at 9 times. That means if he earns $1 million of profit, that business is worth $9 million. If he earns $2 million of profit, that business is worth $18 million because of the processes that are set up.
Yeah, I think you said
that's the difference.
I what I heard in that whole piece is setting up your business so it can run effectively and efficiently and profitably without you being there.
And most people don't think that their business, everybody goes, oh, my business is different. I understand, but my customers love me. They need me. If I'm not there, the whole thing will collapse. The world itself will come to an end if I am not there. I don't know who said it, but it was one of those things. If you think you're that important, go ahead and get a bucket of water. Stick your arm in it with your fist in the bucket of water, and then remove it and see the hole that you left. Right? I mean, it's nothing. But most companies really can set up these processes, and it's not all that expensive. It's really not.
No.
It's not it's less than you would spend on your marketing that doesn't work.
Here's the thing. I will say this, though. More than the cost of our service, of actually the Sales Arbiter service that we bring to our clients, more than that, you have to have a level of commitment to want to change. I mean, that's the thing that we're always challenged with, Dan.
Well, let me go. We're not selling the service as much as we're selling the outcomes of the service.
Fair.
Because that's ultimately what they're buying.
Right.
If you can get something that doubles the value of your business or doubles the time you could spend with your family. Mm-hmm. That's what we're selling.
Right.
So how much is that worth?
Yeah. As
and it works.
We're doing that as we're increasing the value of your company.
Yeah. You're earning more profit, and it's increasing value and it's increasing the value of your company when and if you want to sell.
Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, I listen to your podcast. I kind of like you guys. All right, I like you, Chris, a little bit. I like Dan more. Okay,
yes.
So I kind of listen to your podcast, but I'm not going to hire you guys. I'm not going to pull money out of my pocket to do that. So what would we share with the listeners today on how they would do this if they wanted to try some of these things themselves? How would they be able to do it without hiring us?
Yeah, step 1, it's perfect. You need a system. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is.
Right.
But you need a system. It starts with your salesperson. If you're the top salesperson, step 1 is get somebody else. Mm-hmm. And then your next thing, they're going to say, well, do you have a training program or something like that? And so you got to train that person how to sell.
Okay.
And if you can't do it, figure out and get a training program to get them to do it. And you just got to focus on that. But when clients come in and opportunities come, you stay away. And if you don't have the guts to do that because you think that new person is going to lose it, then you need to make some decisions with that. But step 1 is getting to the mentality that you are going to stay away from the new customers.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's right. And people listening to that, I know you want to vomit right now. Right now, you feel it in your.
I was feeling it right here.
Imagine it's your biggest client. Yeah. It could be we have an opportunity for the government wants to invest $1 million into our program, and we want to send our best salesperson. We want to show your business in the best light possible, and you're not allowed to go. Yeah. How does that feel?
Yeah, I'm getting the acid reflux right now.
That's right.
So, I actually am getting the acid reflux right now. So here's the thing. So you have to be willing to give up some control, also.
Yeah.
Because if you're not willing to do that, and these are significant changes, Dan. I mean, I can hear the business owner right now that's listening to this podcast saying, well, this is the way I've done it for years.
Yeah,
and now
you've been successful,
right?
And you've been successful. That's fine. But understand, when you go to bed tonight, that's your limit. That's where you are.
That's
You
your limit.
are as big as you're going to get right now. And if that's where you want to do, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know, you're probably doing great. I'm happy for you. I mean, a lot of people, they're earning a lot of, it's not a bad thing.
Right. They've made a good living. They've got a
Right.
good life, right?
And if you want that, then that's good. But know that that's where you are.
Got it. Got it. I love it. Okay, so let's turn the table for a second because I am curious to dig into one other piece that you had discussed there too.
All right.
Which
Let's see
is,
what happens.
are you ready? Okay. All right. Because here's the thing. So when you talk about, letting go and you talk about, what you have to do, how you have to change the thought process. Where do you start with that, Dan? I mean, where does that whole thing start? Because some of these people, they're so stuck in the way that they've always done it that they don't have that level of comfort. This takes them completely out of their comfort zone to think that, okay, tomorrow when I wake up, I'm going to think about and run my business in a different way. So how do you even start to chip away at that mountain of thought?
Yeah, well, great question. And I don't know. but I tell you what I do know.
Right.
I do know that more sales is a component of it. In other words, more revenue, you have a lot more options.
Right.
More customers, you got a lot more options to
Right.
set the thing. So it has to start with thinking, wake up in the morning, how do I get a new customer?
Mm-hmm.
How do I get a new customer? How do I get a new customer?
I love it.
And that works. I will say on a second thing is in terms of salespeople out there, if a salesperson's listening to this, I remember a million years ago I was reading See You at the Top, Zig Ziglar.
Mm-hmm.
And a few things you remember, but one of the things I remember is he was selling pots and pans for, I forget the name of the company, but my mother-in-law actually has that set. She spent like $1,500 30 years ago
Right.
on this Salad Master cookware.
Oh, interesting.
And it's still great. It works wonderful and all that stuff. And so Zig Ziglar was the #1 salesperson of Salad Master, and they come here and they cook for you and all that stuff. And so he would coach people, and people would come to him and ask him, how'd you get to be #1 with all this thing? And his question was always the same. And I've done this with people who sold cars and everything. I said, do you own a set yourself? And it's $1,500. I don't have $1,500. Do you own a set yourself at a time when you can't afford it? And if you can do that, if you sell Toyotas, don't be driving a Honda. And vice versa. And what happens, the mindset shift is when you're in front of a client or in front of a prospect and they say, listen, I can't buy it because I can't afford it. If you didn't buy it because you can't afford it, you've just bought into what they're saying instead of them buying into what you're saying. So being totally invested in your business, being totally invested in your job means you really are always trying to grow. And I always tell everybody in the business brokerage business, if you're not ready to grow, it's time to sell, whether you know it or not.
Wow. That's great. That's awesome. And, it brings me back to a little, actually an interaction that I had with one of our clients just this week and I said, every single time you are talking with a potential prospect, an existing client, every single time you're engaging with someone, that is a sales event. You have to look at it as a sales event. And whether it's an existing client, then you should be talking about, we're delivering this project, what's next? All right? Or who else do you know that, you could refer us to?
Even if it's a problem. Even
Right.
if they called you because they got a problem with your thing.
Right.
That's a sales event.
That's right. It's every single point of engagement is a sales event. And if you treat it that way and you start thinking about it that way, you will grow your business.
And even if you're in the elevator with someone, it's a sales event. You're getting them either to like you, or if they like you already, to trust you a little bit more, and then to believe in your product, to help you. All those things, every interaction In every conversation, a transaction is taking place.
Yeah, I love it.
Someone's buying and someone's
I
selling.
hope somebody's writing that down.
That's good
I hope
stuff, isn't it?
One of our 2 listeners is
that's
writing
right.
that down.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, that is. That's awesome. All right, Dan, let me ask you this. So,
Oh, there's more.
there's always
This is
more.
endless.
Because I can't stop. I mean, once you get me, now you've got me excited. Now you got me going.
That's it.
All right. And so, if there's a couple things or just one thing, I'll take one from you, then I'll do one.
Okay.
Okay. But if there's one thing that you would say to the listeners out there that you want them to concentrate on for this upcoming year, okay? Right now, it's kind of a unique time. We're getting close. We're getting, we're in the 4th quarter. We're in the final stretch now, right, of this year. And next year, brand new year. All kinds of stuff going on. All kinds of opportunity for us. All kinds of things that we could start to do today to either springboard into next year or other things that we could do to really think outside the box and help to grow our business. What would you tell someone if they're listening to this podcast? This is one of the most important things you need to do to help your company grow next year is X.
Great question. Let me just rephrase it. First of all, it's a unique time. It's always a unique time. So enough of that. And next year is a new year. Well, every day is a new year.
Okay.
I mean, 365 days from today, it's going to be another new year.
Okay.
But I'll give you one thing. It is a special time. Because of all this situation that's happening, a lot of people are sitting on their tuchus. It is the time to plan less and act more. You need enough with the planning. Wake up in the morning and ask yourself one question and just one question only. How do I get a new customer today? Because you can, if you start now, come January 1st, when everybody's saying, okay, now I'm going to get started, you will have already scooped up all the market share.
Love it.
Now is the time to plan less and act more.
I love it.
There we go. I like that one too.
I'm telling you.
I don't know where that came out of.
I think it came out of right up here.
Yeah.
I know where it came out of. And I love the fact that you said it doesn't matter the day. It doesn't matter the month. It doesn't matter what time of the year. It doesn't matter what quarter we're in. It doesn't matter what minute it is on this watch on this day today right now. It doesn't matter. I mean, what you just said is, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it because the time is now. It has to be now. Right?
Mm-hmm. Every day is New Year's.
Every day is New Year's. Listen to that. I mean, if our listeners got one thing out of this podcast, just one thing, it's the time is now, man.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, make it happen today and don't wait until tomorrow. Don't procrastinate any longer. I mean, really do something different, right? Try to be unique in whatever you sell or do, and because guess what? Guess what's going to happen, Dan? 24 hours from now, that time is gone, baby.
That's it.
The one thing that you can't manufacture in this life is time. Still haven't figured that one out. All right?
Yeah. You don't want to waste that. Time is life.
Right. So let's do it. All right. Let's wrap up for our listeners. Anything you want to say to them before we sign off here tonight?
Any one bit of magic?
Yeah, I love Dan. I love Dan Jourdan magic.
Okay.
I love the Deej magic.
Well, here's something. Okay, so we can enter it. I want you guys to watch this because right now, as of right now, I literally have no idea what I'm going to say.
There you go.
And so here it comes. But if I had to give you one thing of what's going to happen right now, here's the thing. You'll figure it out when you're in the game. See, most people sit on the sidelines and worry about the plan of making themselves perfect before they get started. And what happens is you're never perfect and you never get started. The only way you're going to make a change for yourself and your business and everything in there is that if your whole organization has that philosophy, forget about the ready, aim, fire. It's fire, aim, ready. Do that today. You'll make your day a lot better.
That's perfect.
Boom.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks. I mean, I think they're going to love it. I don't know if I could say anything better than that. So I'm going to sign off today and say,
Okay.
thanks, Dan Jourdan. Appreciate it. Glad you're here.
You're the best.